I want to welcome everyone here today, and at this time, Commissioner Morgan will lead us in a prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for all the blessings you have given us for this day, for this country. May you be with us. May you guide and direct us as we seek reconciliation between factions, between conditions. As we go forward, may we have your strength and guidance to lead us in the way you would have us to go. All of which we would ask in the name of your Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to call this meeting of the Cabell County Commission to order. And we'll move right on into our agenda, which is the approval of the September 10th, 2020 regular commission agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item would be approval of the minutes of the special commission meeting, June 25th, 2020, and the regular commission meeting, June 25th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item would be the erroneous assessments, land consolidation, split tickets, probate documentation, county clerk's probate office.
So moved.
Motion's been made,
Second
it's
that.
been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
no. Motion carries. Next item for approval is purchase orders 2199-531 through 2199-766. Pay jackets, monthly payments to Fifth Third for fuel card purchases.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
no. Motion carries. Next, we have citizens registered to speak. At this time, we do not have anyone registered, but if there's anyone here that would like to speak on any item that's not on our agenda, we would be happy to have you do so at this time. Okay, then we'll move on to the next item, which is agreed order of dismissal of petition for statutory spousal share, agreed order of withdrawal of proof of claim in the estate of Sherry Frederick. Mr. Watson.
Yes, ma'am. This is an agreed order of dismissal with prejudice because they've reached a settlement of the issues involved with the augmented estate of the Sherry Berkeley Frederick. So I would recommend that the agreed order be approved and executed by the president.
With prejudice allows them to,
That means you don't come back,
no, never,
right?
so moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion or anyone here with the estate? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next, we have a notice of hearing order, verified motion to refer estate to the fiduciary commissioner, the estate of Bertha Susan Swartz, AKA Sue C. Swartz.
Do you want to speak to it at all?
That's Ms. Fry's motion. Do you want to let her talk first, or I'm Paul Prunty, I represent the estate.
I believe I've reviewed the matter, and I think it is appropriate that this matter be referred to a fiduciary commissioner for further examination of the facts, and then have a report made back to the commission.
At this time, there's no objection of fiduciary commissioner. This estate's going to be over 200,000 with more than one beneficiary, so it's going to be referred anyway. However, we currently do have the sale going on. We've halted it pending today's motion, and I really don't want that. It's directed in the will for the executor to sell the property. The property appraised for $75,000 by Lisa Dandelay, a qualified appraiser. We currently have the bid of $95,000, over 25% over the appraised value. I see absolutely no reason for the sale to be stopped. This is a vacant house. We have insurance, taxes. It's in the city limits. We have all the city fees. we need to get the house sold.
The reason for the petition basically is that, you know, they were talking about being a closed bid rather than an open bid for the sale. But it seems to, and the lady on the phone here, if it's over 25% higher than the appraised value, it would seem that you would be well positioned to go forward with the sale, unless they feel that there's some strong reason to think by having open bidding that they would get a higher price than that.
If I could respond, and I apologize, it's a little bit difficult to hear the attorney who's speaking, but if we're talking about the sale, that is one of the main reasons my client has filed this motion. She has asked from the beginning and has desired that there be an open sale of the property. It's my understanding that St. Mary's Hospital is the only other person bidding, and it has not been advertised in the community. She believes the appraisal is very low for this piece of property, as evidenced by the fact that they've only allowed St. Mary's and my client to bid on it, and we're already at $95,000, and my client has not yet responded to the bid. So it's clear to my client that the property would bring a substantially greater price if it were advertised for sale and the public were allowed to bid on it. That's what we're asking. We're asking that until this fiduciary commissioner is appointed, that this closed secret bidding process be stopped, and that the executor be ordered not to move forward with that until such time as the fiduciary commissioner's been able to look at it.
What's the address of the house and the square footage?
I forget the address, Your Honor, it's right across,
108 Harrison Court,
right across from St. Mary's main garage down there. It's that little court.
and I've not been provided with a copy of the appraisal. Of course, that has not been provided to me. My client's prior attorney may have received it, but I do not have a copy of that. But certainly, it's common sense that if the bid's already up to 95,000 and we just started the secret bidding, the house is worth far more than 75.
I would
We're
suggest,
just asking that the fiduciary commissioner, that be taken a look at before this proceeds.
I think that's appropriate.
Thank you.
Even though you have the price, but I mean, if there's any possibility, and the fiduciary commissioner will have to do some research to make some determination about that.
With all due respect, and respect to the other two, Mr. Boney, I know as a real estate agent, you can argue till you're blue in the face whether an auction's better or listing with the real estate agent's better. You're never gonna come up with an answer. We got an appraisal just off Lisa Dandelay, qualified real estate appraisal, tells us it's $75,000. I've grown up in Huntington, I realize where it is, and I realize who likes to buy those properties. So yeah, it may be worth more, but it's only because it's in a specialized location that one particular bidder wants. In this case, it's two particular bidders. So yeah, we're bidding them off against each other. But the longer we wait, the more expenses are gonna rack up to the estate, they're gonna have to be paid. Plus, it's a vacant property, is the city gonna come after us, with those fees? Plus, are we gonna be able to continue to keep it insured? And if we are, the insurance is gonna go up substantially.
What's the square footage and number of bedrooms and bathrooms? Just trying to get an
I thought
idea.
it's a vacant lot, isn't it?
No, it is a residence.
More. I have not been given a copy of the appraisal, so I cannot answer the question as to square footage. But certainly, you know, as you've said, I think it's appropriate for the fiduciary commissioner to look at this. I don't have any understanding as to why the executor is so dead set on pushing this property and handing it to St. Mary's without an open bidding process where more money can be brought. It's clear the hospital wants the property, they don't want anybody else to be able to bid on it. They'll bid the same amount if we do it public and allow other people in the community to make offers on the property. That only makes sense.
We're reviewing the appraisal now.
I'm trying to find the comps. Here's,
I don't think that's the issue, really,
So,
the appraisal.
well, I'm just wanting to know.
Ms. Fry, I've given them a copy of the appraisal.
Did you want to see it?
No, that's not the issue as far as I'm concerned.
How about that?
well, you've heard the statements of the opposing
Both
attorneys.
sides.
It's up to you to,
So we need to make a decision. What's your pleasure?
What's the timeframe for it to go to fiduciary before they can sell it?
well, I mean, it'll go to the fiduciary commissioner right away.
And how long does that take?
I mean, that'll be done within, this week, probably, or next week.
There's usually gonna be at least a 30-day notice of a hearing before the fiduciary commissioner, and whatever time the fiduciary commissioner takes to make their determination.
Right.
So you're probably looking at an absolute minimum of 30 days, and it's probably gonna be more than that.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Okay, that's the issue before us. What's your pleasure?
You're the real estate agent.
And obviously, if she still has objection, thinks we didn't get a good price for it, she can still bring an action.
Well, but the problem with that is, my client's gonna be in a position if the sale is not stopped to continue bidding, which is just manifestly unfair to her. I mean, the whole point of having a fiduciary commissioner appointed would be to have somebody who's independent, neutral, take a look at this.
Was there only one appraisal done? Not two different ones?
Yeah, yes, we only had one done, Your Honor.
I'm aware.
I mean, an appraisal, as we all know, and I'm certainly not a real estate agent, but with all respect, I mean, an appraisal is supposed to tell you what the property will bring and the appraiser's best estimation. We know the appraisal's wrong because there's already a bid for $95,000, which is $20,000 more. So I can't put a lot of faith in an appraisal that says it would only bring $75,000.
On the other hand, probably the most expected bidder on the property would be St. Mary's. I mean, they're just,
I believe we expected that St. Mary's would be the bidder. Ms. Eckel came forward, so we've given her every opportunity to buy it as well. So yeah, this is just one of those circumstances where we have two very interested parties, and so it's taken the price above what I would think would be the normal value.
Well, we could have 30, we could have 100 interested properties, but we've not allowed the public to bid on it. And that's my client's concern, and I think that is a very reasonable request that she's been making since the estate was open. I mean, all we're asking is, the shortest way to do this is put an ad in the paper, there's gonna be a sale, there's gonna be an auction, anybody can show up, highest bidder gets the property. That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for the moon. I mean, you could, in theory, put an ad in the paper, notice it for 10 days out, sell it at a public auction, have the attorney standing there, take bids, highest bidder gets it. I mean, how could anybody be opposed to selling it for the highest possible price? I would think that's what the executor would want to do.
Really and truly, Your Honor, the bottom line comes down to what the will says. The will says the sale's to be done at the discretion of the executor. That's what the will says.
What say you on that?
I think it's, they're entitled to try to get the best and highest price. I really do.
Okay, since everybody seems to be in a stalemate here, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we refer this estate to the fiduciary commissioner, because I think it's the right thing to do. And he can sort all this out and make a recommendation to us.
appropriate, I think, for me to second it, to allow it, of course, it would die without a second anyhow.
Sure.
I'll second it and vote against it, so.
That's not necessary. That's not necessary at all.
Okay, I won't second it then.
Okay, then the motion dies for lack of a second.
So
We need to
then-
take some
It doesn't
action,
have
though.
to
We
be
don't need to
resolved?
just sit here.
Doesn't it have to be resolved?
Yes.
Well, the resolution now is Gerald's decision, since the request is that it goes to fiduciary commissioner, and if you all have decided that's not appropriate, then I think the sale goes forward as Mr. Prunty is requested.
I mean, I understand both sides of the argument.
Well, you're the real estate person, I mean, you know
And it
more
is a
about-
seller's market, and the prices are being driven up because of the lack of inventory. I have a question for St. Mary's representative.
Yes, ma'am, Rob Sellers.
Would you still be interested in the property at a public bid? I mean, would that hinder your ability to make a bid? I mean, it might drive up the price a little bit.
We have an expectation on the timeliness of the sale. We were never worried about who was bidding against us. There was a time sensitivity that I can represent, and we have a representative limit to how far we'll go. So, you know, that's as far as I can go. I mean, we are interested in it today. It was a request of the estate to stay interested through this process. If there is a delay, I do not have authority to speak to how long we will remain interested. And as I understand it, we are the current bidder.
Okay. I think it would give me more comfort if there were a second appraisal that was made, so that you have two different opinions, not just the one appraisal. Even though I do have great confidence in Lisa Dandelion. She's always been, done a great job, so.
I'm not sure the appraised value has a whole lot to do with it if you already have a buyer that's willing to go above that.
But that's,
I think the
It's
appraisal
important.
only has to do with the fact that the comfort for the executor that he's gotten a good
Sure,
price.
but an appraisal's all you need. You don't need multiple
Right, I mean,
appraisals.
we're looking at that to get a point to start with, or, normally in the state, you get the appraisal and you wanna get within about 10%. Hey, we're 25% over, we're happy. I think we've done a good job.
And I think that was apparently a representative from St. Mary's speaking, and I'm sorry, I don't recognize voices, I don't know who that was, but, it seems to me that this going back and forth between St. Mary's and one person has certainly taken longer than just putting an ad in the paper and having everybody show up on a certain day and time to bid on a piece of property. I mean, that would have taken 30 minutes.
We would have also had to publish in the paper, take a 30 days to publish in the paper. Plus, it also raises the question whether I can even do that or not, because I'm not a licensed auctioneer. If we have to pay a licensed auctioneer, the current value is 10%. Paid by the buyer, but I don't think that makes it fair. And had we hired a real estate agent, we're going right 7%. So we'd save that as well.
You wouldn't have to have a real estate agent to do a public bidding process where everybody can put in a bid.
We do a public, the question is whether we have to have an auctioneer. I don't know the answer.
we're just trying to look at fairness here for all parties, and it's both sides to me are making a valid argument.
I just feel the price, like I say, that it's actually the executor's discretion. We feel like at the point we're at, we've got a good price, and we may still be going up, we don't know.
So
it
does
seems
that
like it's
state
working.
that in the will, actually? Have you seen it? The will's the will, I guess. So,
Your
I'll-
recommendation was to refer it to a fiduciary commissioner, right?
But that vote was,
I know,
Yeah.
but that was your
right,
recommendation.
exactly. So if it isn't referred, then I think they move forward as as presently established.
I mean, to me, the will's the will, and it takes precedent.
Well, it's at his discretion, yeah.
So, that would be my
Anytime there's-
motion.
Okay, well, the, what's her name?
Tracy Fry. Ma'am, is your name Tracy Fry?
Yes, it is.
Ms. Fry, one of the commissioners is a licensed real estate person, and it is her recommendation to the commission that what the will says, it's at the discretion of the executor should be given weight, and by reason of the fact that you've got a $25,000 higher bid than the appraised value, that, it's my understanding that it's commission's position that the quote-unquote closed sale goes forward.
Well, if it's clearly stated in the will that it's at the discretion of the executor, I don't see how we can change that.
But anytime there's a dispute, we have the right to
I understand that.
refer it to a fiduciary
correct.
commissioner. That's part of the
I
process.
understand that.
It's,
Yeah, and I guess that's what we're doing. I mean, the statute allows anytime there's a controversy arising, and I'm preaching to the choir here, so to speak, obviously you know this, that's why a fiduciary commissioner would be appointed, so there's a neutral person who has the ability to, you know, look at the house, see what's going on behind the scenes, evaluate the property, understand why in the world we would be doing a bid between two people instead of a bid in the general public to bring the highest price. I would agree with whoever says the appraisal doesn't mean a lot when we already have a bid 20,000 more than that, and we're still bidding if our motion is not granted today. But just for the record, I just want to make it very clear that what we're asking is that the interests of the beneficiaries be protected, a fiduciary commissioner be appointed, and the sale simply be halted until such a time as this fiduciary commissioner can take a look at what we've got going on in this case. Because we do not believe in any shape, form, or fashion that the executor, by doing it in this method, is fulfilling his fiduciary obligation to the estate.
As far as any other protections, as I already stated, this is going to go to a fiduciary commissioner at some point. So as far as the fiduciary commissioner,
It's true.
but I just don't want to have to stop the sale for the reasons.
and that's the whole issue.
Yeah, but if fiduciary commissioner won't have the opportunity to review this if the sale goes through. It goes.
It'll be too late.
Right. Whatever the decision of the commission is, Ms. Fry, you have the right to bring a court action in the circuit court. In other words, if you disagree with the commission's ruling, then you can appeal the matter to the Cabell County Circuit Court.
Yes, sir. I understand. My concern, and I think you've already pointed this out, is at that point, the property will have already been sold, and, you know, whoever will be the owner of it. And having a lawsuit or a cause of action against the executor, and I certainly don't say this to disparage the executor, I don't know him, don't know what his finances are, but having a cause of action against someone is only as good as your ability to collect it. So in my mind, the time to protect my client is to get the best price now instead of after, you know, a long period of litigation, if she's successful then trying to collect it from an executor who may or may not have any resources.
Well, I think your petition to the circuit court, part of the request would be that the matter be held in abeyance until further action. I mean, that, you would still stop the sale until the court makes a determination whether it's in the best interest of all the parties concerned, including the executor and your beneficiary, that it be put out to bid.
Yes, sir.
May I ask Rob a question?
Yes, sir.
Is this a house?
Yes.
You've seen it?
I have driven by it, I've not been through
Yeah,
it.
it's in that little
Circle.
spot.
It is.
And St. Mary's has been buying up, if you would, various pieces of property as they become available up there
Yes, they own existing properties in that area currently.
at above market price? Or
This
do
would be
you
the
know?
first at this level.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, and just so that I can represent this factually to St. Mary's, the request is to send this to a fiduciary commissioner who is not a licensed realtor, but is an attorney, where right now we have a county attorney and a licensed realtor evaluating this at this level. Okay, I understand.
You're right.
I haven't done the comparables, you know, I haven't done a CMA or anything. But, I mean, when you have a ready, willing, and able buyer, you tend to go that way in this market sometimes.
I think you have to function as a commissioner, not a real estate
I understand
agent at this
that.
point.
Well, I think that's our point, is we knew we had two ready, willing, and able buyers, so we just positioned them against each other, where that usually produces the highest price in any sale.
But I guess my common sense response to that is, yes, you have two willing buyers, but why would you not want 10 willing buyers to get the best price?
That's a good
Or
point, too.
100, or 30, or
That's a
5?
good point, too.
Because
I
we're
mean, to
fairly
me, if
certain
I'm
there are.
selling anything, I want as many
Normally in that
willing-
area, there's one.
I'm sorry?
Normally in that area, there's one,
Which is St. Mary.
St. Mary.
Is the other bidder a person, a corporation,
The other bidder is Susan Eckel, Ms. Fry's client.
My client. But my point is, anytime you're selling anything, whether it's a car or a piece of real estate or a boat, the more buyers you have bidding, the higher price you're going to get.
So,
I mean, my client in St. Mary's would be bidding against potentially 5, 10, 20 more people. That's bound to bring the best price.
It's highly unlikely there would be that many people interested. You have
How-
areas, in that area it's St.
how-
Mary's, and the other area it's Cabell's.
I have a question. If you're representing the other buyer, why would you want to drive the price up for your buyer?
It's her position that she wants the highest benefit for the entire estate, and she wants as many people bidding on it as possible. That's why she's retained me to file this motion.
Is she a part of the estate?
Yes,
Okay,
she's a beneficiary, yes.
okay.
If I might, and I do not want to belabor this, the commission has other business. We believe that Ms. Eckel's motivation is that she's also a resident in that area and has made efforts to prevent St. Mary's from acquiring the other local properties. So we believe the price has actually been artificially driven up by virtue of her motivation. She could just keep bidding. We believe that this is her response to our current bid, was to try to derail the entire process. So, I mean, she does have the opportunity to continue to bid. There's not a prohibition to that. And it's her turn to bid.
I can't imagine an executor would care what anyone's motivation is. It's his duty and legal obligation to get the highest price. I mean, if her motivation is she wants to buy the house and put little green aliens in it, if she's willing to pay the most money for it, who cares? I mean, the executor's obligation is to get the highest price. Maybe there's another neighbor who wants to buy it, move their mother-in-law in, but we don't know because we haven't sold the piece of property in a public manner.
So your
I mean, I
client,
would think, if I'm the executor or the attorney for the executor, I don't care who bids on it, I wanna get the highest price.
so could your client,
That's my job.
could your client raise her bid?
She has been bidding, and yes, she will probably raise her bid, assuming she's forced to go through this process. But we have been bidding under the strenuous objection that we're waiting for this commission's decision today, because we do not agree with the method in which this is being done. she wants a fair bid. There are other beneficiaries. It's not just her. And Susan wants to make sure all the beneficiaries get the highest price, even if that means her paying more. Because that's what's fair. Every beneficiary should be able to rely on the executor to get the highest price from the sale. And you're not gonna get the highest price limiting it to 2 people when you could have other people bidding on it. I mean, that's just common sense.
The will say that, the highest price, or does it just say dispose of it in?
It says disposed of at the executor's discretion, does not say at the highest price. I mean, obviously, in a fiduciary duty, he wants to do the best he can, but he's not obligated to absolutely get the highest penny he can. He's just obligated to do his job.
I tell you, the average days on the market in this market is about 5 months. So if it goes on the market, it could potentially not even have a sale.
Well, we're not talking about putting it on the market. I mean, they could do a public bidding very quick. I just want to make sure I'm making that clear. All Susan has asked, essentially from the beginning, is that it be open for everybody to put a bid on that wants to bid on it. And then whoever bids the highest, and it may very well be St. Mary's, I imagine they have unlimited funds, they may get it, but it needs to be open to everyone to bid on.
I think we need to make a decision. We're sitting here listening to everything that would go before the fiduciary commissioner, and sorting all this stuff out.
Yeah, and my concern is, and it goes to the fiduciary commissioner anyway because of the multiple beneficiaries and it's valued over $200,000. However, I don't think, even though he's an attorney, whether it's Mr. Biser or Mr. Fletcher, that they have any unique knowledge of the real estate market. I mean, you know, the time it would take for them to go through and evaluate and maybe get another price, whatever they feel necessary in order to come up with a recommendation. You're gonna have a time frame that extends out there because he has to put a hearing together and it's at least 30 days. Mr. Prunty is the fiduciary commissioner out of Wayne, so he's familiar with the time frames. And like you say, it's gonna be additional costs to the estate to do this. So, again, that's sort of where we are.
Can we move, we do not send it to a fiduciary commissioner, or would we just not take action?
No, I mean, the motion was made to refer it to a fiduciary
Right.
commissioner, and it died in a second, so now that ends that aspect of it. And that's the purpose of the motion before the commission from Mrs. Fry, to have the matter referred to a fiduciary commissioner. So if that doesn't take place, then I think you fall back to where they are now. And again, she would
It
have.
seems to me we resolved it when that motion died for lack of a second.
Right,
And all this other conversation has been
just
conversation.
conversation, that's right. But she does, Ms. Fry does have the right to appeal our decision to the circuit court, which in turn, if they felt appropriate, and this is the court doing it, not a fiduciary commissioner, they could stay the sale, you know, or whatever. If Mrs. Fry's client would be wanting to do that, that's entirely up to them. So to resolve the matter before the commission today, it isn't going to be referred to the fiduciary commissioner, so the motion is denied. And so then we will now go back to where they stand right now as far as the 2 bidders are concerned.
Well, I don't think we play another role in it. This is
No,
it.
that's all you've
This
done.
is it for us. So that having been said, it appears we've denied the motion and we'll move on to the next item on our agenda. Thank you
Will I
all.
be getting a written order denying the motion?
If you
We
want to
don't.
prepare such an order,
You want me to do it?
please.
Okay, I'll prepare such an order.
Yeah. All right. And that way, that's the document that you would take to an appeal if you choose to do so.
Yes, that's why I was just gonna ensure that I was gonna receive something in writing so that we could file that appeal.
All right,
In a timely manner.
I will try to do that just as quickly as I can.
okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
This was the hardest one yet.
Moving on, the next item is entering a copy of a will as an original in the estate of Kathleen Mallory Loudermilk.
This
Bill?
is, yes, this is a situation where there's an affidavit indicating that the will, they couldn't locate the original, and that the testatrix has indicated that the instrument represented her wishes and that she had made no comments as to change who her beneficiaries were, so they have met the requirements necessary to have a copy of the will probated. So it would be my recommendation to allow that to happen.
Didn't we have another one of these just recently?
Yeah,
Last meeting.
we've had several of them actually.
So moved.
Motion's been made,
Second.
it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is entering a copy of a will as an original in the estate of Alice Guston.
And it's the same situation. Copy wants to be recorded, having not been able to locate the original, and that there's affidavit to the effect that the writer of the will has not indicated that she wanted to change her mind, matter such as that, so.
So moved.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next, we have a presentation on a free COVID-19 drive-through testing Friday, September 11th, 2020, from 9 to 3 p.m., and I think that's you, Gordon Mary.
Really, you said just about all. It's
That's
gonna
all
be
you
at-
have to say, huh?
It's gonna be at the station in Barbersville, and it's free to the public. The one thing that we are pushing is something new that's come out is the plasma. When someone actually contracts the COVID-19 with the plasma taking from that individual, we're able to do that local now. And it's a big plus on trying to get people recovered. So we're asking, if someone would come up positive, that maybe they would consider going to the Red Cross and giving the plasma so that we can better serve the public if they do get sick.
It's good news.
Sounds great.
Sheriff going to assist you with traffic on that?
No, sir, he isn't. The mayor of Barbersville graciously agreed to assist us on traffic. I think we've got a pretty good plan set up. If this works, we're gonna do one in Milton in the very near future. And we'll see how it goes. If there's a demand, we'll be glad to go do the testing.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
the
for the-
info. Yeah.
Opportunity.
Yeah, sounds
So
great.
you're more than welcome to go get tested tomorrow.
That's okay.
Lose a little gray matter when they do it.
It doesn't feel very good, I
No.
tell you.
Next, we have a letter from Irv Johnson, Cabell County Assessor, for the Dog Fund, which is $465.30.
Better give the chief and go. So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item deals with a letter from Irv Johnson on the sheep and goat tax of $4.60.
Move to approve.
So moved.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have a letter from the sheriff telling us about the 2019 delinquent real estate list. Do you have anything you'd like to say about your list?
It's actually a little bit less than last year, and of course, that list will thin greatly between now and the day of the sale. Some counties are kind of debating on about sale we're proceeding forward. Sale when we're supposed to sell, if we don't stay on track with this thing, we're gonna be in big trouble. And we moved it to Farrell's courtroom, where we can spread them out a little better, and the not gonna let anybody, only bidders come into this. So that's our plan.
Well, you need to follow the law and see it all through.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, next we have another letter. You're really good at writing letters. From the sheriff about the employment of Benjamin Baker as a full-time deputy.
Yeah, he's currently in the military.
Do we have
and,
to?
He's gonna get out in December.
They don't have to.
We're gonna go ahead and hire him and put him in military leave, so we can register for the academy and get everything done. He actually will not report to duty until the end of November. This way we can do this and get him enrolled in the academy. It's become very difficult to get people in the academy, and now they're locking them in for 10 straight weeks.
Well,
They don't get to come home, they don't get to see any contact with their families, they used to get weekends. So we're trying to move forward with that too, and the spots are very hard to get.
okay.
So that was our strategy.
We probably need to back up and vote on your first letter
Right,
as acceptance of the delinquent real estate list.
right.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And the second letter is the employment of Benjamin Baker.
So moved.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item, we have a resolution for the reclassification of Morgan Robinson, per diem paramedic, William Eugene Fitzgerald as a full-time EMT advanced.
Move.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Resolution in the matter of establishing an emergency absentee voting policy for Cabell County in the 2020 general election. Phyllis, you want to tell us about that?
Well, this is to go into like nursing homes and
Emergency type.
hospitals or anything like that. Of course, as of right now, you're not allowed in, but it's subject to change, so we went ahead and made the provisions for that.
Was this a recommendation of the Secretary of State?
We've always done it.
We've always
Yeah,
done
we
this.
don't-
This is a,
This is our decision.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that we've always done. You can go into the assisted living homes, can't you?
I'm not sure.
I think you can now, but not the nursing homes yet.
And the hospital won't
Yeah.
or if somebody's there and wants to vote, they will, as of right now, but that, like I said, that could change.
Yeah, you
so.
could.
Sounds like the Episcopal Church, we've always done it that way.
That's right.
But it doesn't make it right. Always.
So move.
Motion's been made,
Second.
has been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is a resolution in the matter of a resolution authorizing the president of the commission to accept a grant from the HAVA Grant Board for purchase of electronic polling books for $303,580. That's a good size grant.
Yeah.
Is there any cut for the president?
Oh, you want to get me in trouble real
No,
quick.
no, no. That's great. I move.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item we have is a resolution to authorize reinstatement of location for early voting at Marshall University. Most of you know we did have early voting there a couple of elections. We did not the last election, and you're recommending that we reinstate that.
Well, they wouldn't let us come the last election. They called and said that they wanted us to come this time, so we're trying to go back there, I guess.
Isn't it already difficult though for getting poll workers in what we have now or no? Is this just for early voting?
This is just for early voting, this is for, at Marshall. We'd have to set a new precinct up and
No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, it's always been just for early voting, yeah.
So move.
Motion's been made. I'll second that motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is the matter of advertisement for an invitation to bid for the fire escape painting project adjacent to the Cabell County Courthouse.
Well, I
This
mean,
is what it
you
is.
probably noticed there are new support for it, there's new steel, which is already rusting. And now they're putting spindles in it, and a toe plate, and basically just finishing up the end of it. And once it's all done, we wanna paint it and
Sounds like a
get
winner.
it all to match.
The existing steps are already in need of it anyway, and this.
And they've been painted twice.
Yeah, and they, basically, we're gonna put in the specs that it needs to be repaired in the correct way, and, you know, we're gonna have to make sure we have the correct paint. So they may need a couple different kinds on it, because some of it's galvanized, some of it isn't. So I imagine it's gonna be somebody that's, their coatings.
When that was originally purchased, it was supposed to have already been painted. Paint was supposed to be into the metal.
Right.
And they got it all up, and that wasn't the case. And then it's never worked right
That
since.
wasn't my project.
Sounds like a winner. I like this.
Before your time.
That's right.
That's true.
That's BC.
A long time before your time.
That's right.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is a matter of advertisement for an invitation to bid for the paving project adjacent to the Cabell County Courthouse. I think the paving was torn up on the original parking lot.
The paving on the original parking lot will be, recovered, I believe, with approximately an inch and a half of new paving, new pavement, and then the rubble that's out there will get also, it'll all be the same level. We might have probably about 20 to 24 spots, depending on how we
Okay.
structure it.
That'll be helpful.
Okay,
Move to approve.
motion's been made,
Second.
it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The motion carries. Next item is Cabell County Emergency Response Center budget revision. Have anything you'd like to say, Beth?
You want mine?
This is their carryover revision, from their carryover letter
Okay.
from the accounting department.
All right. I move we approve.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next item is a resolution, Cabell County Commission, County Budget Revision Number 1.
This is the county clerk's office moving some money from professional services into building and equipment rentals.
Okay.
Moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. At this time, we need a motion to go into executive session where we will discuss the opioid litigation with our attorneys. Thank you all very much for being here. If you'd like to stay, we will come back when that session is over. Okay, we're back in regular session, having no action been taken in the executive session. At this time, we would like to place on record documents to be recorded: Barboursville Volunteer Fire Department report of excess levy funds, Lewis and Associates, monthly statement of the assessor for Cabell County, West Virginia.
Moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Do we have anything for the Commissioners' representation reports? How about the good and welfare of Cabell County? Anybody have anything? Hearing none, then if there's nothing else to come before the meeting, we will adjourn as soon as we sign all the necessary paperwork. Thank you all so much for being here.